Don't forget to hit the red button to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up and click the notification bell to get my next video first. So my friends, in this video we're going to be taking a look at which Fire Stick is the right one for you to buy, which one suits your needs the most. We'll look at the two new releases, the Fire Stick and also the Fire Stick Lite, but we're going to be including the other one, the Fire Stick 4K. Now, these things look so similar. To help you see the differences between them, I'm going to write on the back of them Fire Stick 4K, and I'm going to unbox the other two, and I can assure you they are identical inside apart from just a couple of very subtle differences, but all of the packaging inside is pretty much exactly the same. And here they are. The Fire Stick 4K is at the top, the Fire Stick in the middle, and the Fire Stick Lite at the bottom. Now, the Fire Stick and the Fire Stick Lite are identical in size. There is absolutely nothing that separates them. But as you can see, there is a slight difference in the Fire Stick 4K. It's around ½ an inch bigger. In terms of the remote controls, again, I've marked on the back of each remote control which is which, and you'll see subtle differences when I spin them over. The Fire Stick Lite does not have a volume control or a power on and power off button, and that's because it cannot control the TV, whereas on the Fire Stick and the Fire Stick 4K it can control the TV and it can control the volume button. So there's actually four differences. There's volume up and down, there's a mute button, and there's also the standby button at the top left corner there. So the eagle-eyed amongst you will also see that there's a button on the Lite which isn't on the other, and that is the guide button, which literally just takes you to your videos. A massive factor in purchasing decisions will be the price. Now, the Fire Stick 4K is $49.99. The new Fire Stick, which has just been released, which can control your TV as well, is $39.99. And the base model, the brand new Fire Stick Lite, is $29.99. So there is £20 or dollars difference between the top range and the bottom range, and that middle one is $39.99. So really, what you've got to consider to yourself is, what does the difference between $10 and $20 mean to you and what you can get out of it? Let's have a look at some of the performance issues. Okay, so what about performance? Well, you may think that the two more expensive, the Fire Stick and the Fire Stick 4K, may produce quicker response times, but in our test that certainly wasn't the case. In fact, the fastest one to reboot was actually the Fire Stick Lite in just around 47 seconds, and then literally a couple of tenths of a second later was the Fire Stick. And as you can see from this test, the Fire Stick 4K, which is an older device, so it may well have a slower processor inside it, but that was almost 15 seconds slower at just a fraction under 1 minute and 2 seconds. So there's a big difference in the new devices. So for the majority of people, these devices are almost identical. I could find zero difference between the operation of all three devices. The speed in which different applications opened was identical. The speed in which programs loaded was identical. There are some technical differences, which I'll come on to in a second, but for the majority, the operation and the function of these things are pretty much the same. So the main thing that you need to think about is the operation of the TV, and also, do you want 4K? So one thing that you may not be aware of is different TV programs will have different codecs for things like audio and video. The big differences between these Fire Sticks is that some have more capability of playing the different codecs. So for instance, if you've got a surround sound system with Dolby Atmos, then the 4K Fire Stick and also the Fire Stick, the one in the middle, will have Dolby Atmos audio. But the audio on the Fire Stick Lite is just Dolby audio. It will pass through HDMI only. So this means that you're not getting the same Atmos surround sound, for instance, but it's not a great deal if you haven't got one of those systems. And one other advantage of the Fire Stick 4K is that it supports Dolby Vision. So if you've got a TV that will support Dolby Vision, it will too. So those are the main differences between the different devices. Now for me personally, I really think it's down to a choice of just two. The Fire TV Stick Lite at $29.99 or the Fire Stick 4K at $49.99. That $10 difference just to control your TV, for me, is probably not worth it. So I would recommend either save the money and still have something which is very, very good, a great device, the Fire Stick Lite, which doesn't have the 4K and you can't control your TV, for $29.99, or spend that extra £20 or $20 and get the 4K version, which will control your TV. Guys, I hope that's been useful, and I hope that showed you the minimal differences between these devices. Thank you so much for watching this video, and as always, please hit that like button and hit the red button to subscribe.